Well, I've got House Majority Leader Eric Cantor, Republican from Virginia, who's leading the House delegation here. He's been meeting with world leaders. We should just get right to it. But first, I need your comment because the markets, as people can see on the bottom of our screen, having a bit of a struggle today, yesterday. Nonetheless, the markets have done very well over the past year. But how focused are you, congressional leaders, on what's going on with the stock market versus the economy?
Well, I think overall, one would say both sides of the aisle in America should be concerned about working middle-class Americans right now. And I know as Republicans in Congress, we're going to go look to this year to see what we can do to put in place solutions that, frankly, have been non-existent, we believe, coming out of the White House. We just have to focus on job creation. We've got to focus on upward mobility because, frankly, wages have not been increasing the way they should. Now, there's going to be a debate about how to do that. Now, we believe a growing economy will allow for wages to increase. But you can't grow the economy if you've got suffocating regulations in place. We've got to be focused on people's out-of-pocket costs when it comes to energy, when it comes to health care. These are the kinds of things I think we're going to be focused on. I'm hopeful that we can make some progress this year with the president.
Well, this is your second trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos. What is different about this one? And again, you told me before we came to you guys, Eric was telling me that you really are focused very much on meeting with world leaders. You met with Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, and you've met with the Ukraine leadership. We've got a situation in Ukraine. How serious is that?
Well, I say, Liz, just like you were asking about what's going on at home with the stock market and jobs, we are going to be focused on an America that works in comparison, frankly, to a new normal that we're not going to accept. Same way internationally. I think that what we're hearing from folks in Ukraine, for instance, I met with several of their parliamentarians here in Davos, and they want America's voice to be heard because, frankly, they are being run over by a president in place right now who seems to be looking to Vladimir Putin for help versus trying to go the freedom route the way that I think we in America know works.
Well, the backstory, for those of you who don't know, with the Ukraine is that the Ukraine leadership has really allowed itself to be under the thumb of Russia versus striking a deal with the Europeans, and they feel that would create, at least the people in the opposition feel that would create a lot of jobs. Eric, the perception of the United States overseas, how is it now? Because I have to tell you, I've been talking to a lot of CEOs who say they were really happy that a debt deal was struck. I know there's another point on the calendar that's coming. Secretary Lew believes that we will see another debt ceiling battle in February. What do the Republicans say?
Well, first of all, the Republicans say our goal is to make America the best place to invest, the best place to create jobs, the best place to lead. And we believe that we've got the solutions. And if the White House and the president would just sit down and discuss how we could make it more conducive to grow our economy. I mean, you look at the situation with the Keystone Pipeline, for instance. That is a no-brainer. The Canadians are sitting here asking, when in the world are you going to, in fact, get with it? Because we in North America, and we know in the U.S., have such an advantage when it comes to energy. It's a huge job creator. Why is the president standing in the way? So we Republicans are going to be focused on things that help grow our economy, get people back to work. I think long-term, eventually, I think the White House is going to realize that, what we are about as Republicans is actually fixing the problem on the debt. We don't say that America shouldn't pay its bills. Of course America should pay its bills. But we can't keep spending and borrowing the way we are, ignoring the problem, and that's been the frustration dealing with this White House.
Let me push you, Secretary Lew correct when he says we may see another debt ceiling battle in February?
Well, Liz, what I'd say is I'd point back to October and what happened during the shutdown, and when the Secretary of the Treasury announced a date certain by which, if we went beyond that date, we'd be in the territory, if you will, of the unknown, that somehow we would be in default and America wouldn't pay its bills. None of us want that to happen. So we're going to hopefully have a cooperative White House to say, you know what, you're right. Let's work to grow this economy. You can't even expect to get close to a balanced budget unless we see growth, and something's got to change. We've got to get back to an America that works, Americans that are working, that are growing.
Well, what do you say then to some of your membership who really identify more with, say, for example, the Tea Party and feel that the most recent budget deal was a give-in and that in essence the Republicans caved? Congressman Boehner seemed to really be up to here with that particular part of the party. Where do you stand on it?
Well, remember what the acronym stands for, tax enough already. And what happened during the upsurge, if you will, of the Tea Party during the Obamacare debate back in 2009? It brought moms and grandmas and dads and others who had never been involved in politics before. I mean, you think about it, our system allows for that kind of robust debate. Anything that can involve more people and vest them in the outcome of what goes on in Washington is a good thing, because in the end our government belongs to the people and not the other way around, and that's what makes us so different than so many of these countries that we're meeting with here.
As we finish up, we've got about 20 seconds left. We speak to a lot of CEOs. We've had Michael Corbett of Citi. Brian Moynihan is going to be on in just an hour or two in the 4 p.m. Eastern show. A lot of them seem to be very centrist at certain points and say, we just want to conduct business. Do you feel that you can work with those across the aisle this year?
Yes, there are things. I mean, look at what things like the patent reform bill. We did that in a bipartisan way. We have a skills act that we passed in the House. The president talks about wanting to close the opportunity gap. The best thing to do is to equip Americans who are out of work with the skills necessary to access new jobs. Yes, there are plenty of things that we can work together on. We need a White House that is committed to collaborating and trying to drive towards results.
Representative Eric Cantor of Virginia, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much. Jake